What is going on, guys and girls? My name is James, ThnxCya. Welcome back today to Roblox. How are you doing, everyone? Welcome back, welcome back. Today, of course, it is time once again to jump back into Bee Swarm Simulator. And today, I've got a couple of cool things to do, something that I've been looking forward to doing for so long. And I thought, you know what? Let's do it on camera. Let's share this beautiful moment. And yeah, I also got a couple of things I want to talk about last episode and about future Bee Swarm content. So it should be pretty cool. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, claim the hive. How are we all doing? I hope you guys and girls are good. Oh my goodness, it's feeling really wintry right now. It feels like it's winter. Christmas is coming. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, it's mad. Where did the summer go? I always talk about weather. British people talk about weather a lot, have you noticed? But yeah, anyway, so what I've been doing is basically, ever since this update first came out, which was, I don't know, a couple months ago or so, yes, we've been doing all of the new quest lines, and we've been doing the Spirit Bear and the new areas, and doing all the petals and windy bees and all that good stuff. But I have also, in the background, been working away at the quest badge. And it just feels like we were doing it forever. So I think when we started the update, I can't quite remember, but I feel like we had 700 quests to do, or 700 quests in order to actually get to where we wanted to be. And the good news is, are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? 3, 2, 1. Our badge is currently on 4,999 out of 5,000 quests. Oh, this has been quite the grind. Yeah, but this is really cool. When we hand in our next quest, and look at this, I got them all loaded up. Apart from this one, I can do brown bear, I can do bucko bear, I can do polar bear. Oh my goodness, I could do honeybee, but I keep this quest low deliberately. In case you're actually wondering, you may wonder why I never hand this quest in. So yeah, this is the honeybee here, and I think, if I remember correctly, if you do a certain amount of them, you get star jelly from it every now and again. I can't quite remember how many, but yeah, I think it's maybe after the first 10. I could be wrong. Yeah, the reason why I don't hand this in, quite simply, is because if I ever need half an hour of conversion boost, then I always have it ready just in case. So yeah, I mean, every time you hand it in, this number gets a bit bigger, so I just keep it just in case I ever need it. You could do them and hand them in, but yeah. Anyway, that's why I do it. But yeah. We've nearly got 5,000, and this means our backpack increases to a bigger size. Oh, finally. It has been quite the journey. So, ooh, I've also got old Stumpy to take down. Oh my goodness. But which quest should we hand in? I tell you what, should we go brown bear? Yeah, let's do our 5,000th quest as brown bear. Why not? Brown bear, I feel, doesn't get as much attention as he deserves because he's kind of just known as like the repeatable bear. But yeah, let's go and hand him in. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? 3, 2, 1, and you ready? Yes! Woohoo! 5,000 quests! Oh, thank goodness. That has been quite the grind. Is my King Beetle here? Let's go and have a little look. He is not at home for another 2 hours. Okay, fair enough. Well, there we go. So we're ready for this big moment. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? So our backpack right now reads 17.8. And then when we hit this bad boy, 3, 2, 1, 22.25. Yes! That's a big backpack, man. Yeah, it times it by 0.5, so it's a really good boost to get. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Oh, thank goodness. So in theory, right, I think the diamond mask gives you an even bigger backpack. What would it be with the diamond mask on? I'm kind of thinking about maximum backpack space. Now, the thing is, believe it or not, I don't actually have the best stickbug amulet. I only actually have a gold amulet. The reason why, quite simply, is I've never been in a server with a bunch of other super duper high level people. So yeah, you do need a really good team of players if you want to get a diamond stickbug amulet. Or is there a supreme one? I'm not too sure, actually. I think it just goes diamond. But yeah, I've never been in the server like that, so my best one is gold. I would like to get that at some point, though. That would be kind of cool. Oh, look at that! Look at it! Hang on, there we go. Dude, that's huge. It's nearly up to 30. Man. So yeah, that's 27 million with the diamond mask. Yeah, the thing is, I don't use the diamond mask too often, to be honest with you. Oh, whoops. I tend to either use the demon for damage or the gummy mask for, doing the fields and stuff, but I just wanted to see that was 27 million. Dude! So, yeah, I'm just going to hand in these quests in the background here, see what we can do. Last episode, which was the episode where we actually got ourselves the Supreme Shell Amulet. Oh my goodness, that was such a happy, happy day. Yeah. I asked in the middle of that episode if you guys had any questions about Bee Swarm which you didn't think that we covered in our 2 recent videos, which were tips and tricks for pros and tips and tricks for noobs. So yeah, thank you so much for all of your comments, and not just in that episode, in general on every episode. Thank you so much for all of your likes and your comments and subscribing to the channel and all that good stuff. It really means everything to me. Thank you so much. And I basically went and had a read through that comment section. Always really cool to see what you guys are saying. And yeah, I had a bunch of questions, and what I thought we would do in today's episode is I'm going to answer a few of them, but with the amount of questions that we got, I kind of feel like it's better if we do another like standalone tips and tricks video, but this time try and do one for mid-game players, because that's kind of, I felt like this is the general gist of the conversations. It was sort of like, you've got lots of starter tips and then lots of much more advanced tips, but there isn't anything like particularly in the middle, which might sort of help people out. So that was kind of the general vibes I was getting from the questions that we read. So what I'm thinking is, yes, why don't we just do like a standalone episode for mid-game players? Does that sound good? I mean, it's going to be actually quite a difficult video to do, and the reason why is because in the pro one and the noob one, a lot of the things that I talk about kind of have like a little bit of overlap. And yeah, it can be like a little bit tricky to sort of isolate some points, but I do think that I could do it, and it felt like a lot of people were sort of saying, it was quite interesting actually. A lot of people were saying like, they're sort of stuck in limbo sort of in the middle of the game, where they're not quite strong enough to, you know, do the crazy field boost, and they're not quite strong enough, you know, to take down the crab and stuff, but they are good enough to say like, you know, take down the king beetle and the tunnel bear, but, you know, as they're going into the fields, they're not generating too much pollen and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that might be useful. I hope so. So yeah, anyway, stay tuned for that on the channel. I'm going to try and get that uploaded and recorded and all that stuff in the next couple of days, maybe at the weekend. I'll see what I can do. And yeah, I thought just we'd answer a couple of questions in this video, because why not, right? And yeah, we're going to do that in just a second. Before we do that, though, we have old Stumpy to take down. Okay, I'm going to close that before I get distracted just doing quests. Let's go and take him down. So this is going to be our 36th takedown of old Stumpy. And I'm wondering what amulet we're going to get. You see, the thing is now, we want more Supreme amulets. We want to basically re-roll that Supreme, and we want to see if we can get some better stats on it. So I feel like that should definitely be possible. I want to see if you can get higher than 12% goo. Maybe we can get 13 or 14, who knows? And I just kind of want to see what we can get. So, as usual, I'm going to wait for my old baby love. And there it is. Here we go. Speed! Speed! Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! I'm going to pop a stinger. Why not? We got a stinger with it last time. Superstition and all that. So, here we go. The 36th time. Old Stumpy's going down. 3, 2, 1, and... oh, it's gold! On it! Why you do this? Okay. So the thing is now is that basically I still feel like the Supreme is going to be difficult to get. So obviously we're not going to accept this one. But yeah, now I feel like hopefully, because we do have the Supreme, I'm hoping that it's going to become more consistently gettable, I guess, as time goes on. So, you know, like the first time we got the Diamond Amulet, it was like amazing. And then like going on, each time we killed it, we got like 5 or 6 different Diamond Amulets. So I'm hoping the same is going to be that with the Supreme. But what did we get? We got 90,000 bond, 2 star jellies, 50 tickets, 15 glues, 1 enzyme, 10 RJs, 100 gumdrops, 50 pineapples, 1 magic bean, and 31 million honey. Nice. Okie dokie. So, oh yeah. Oh my goodness, right? So I was just playing a little bit earlier, doing a couple more quests to record this episode, and believe it or not, I actually took down the tunnel bear. And like, you know, I've mentioned a few times, right, that we're pretty much on just an endless hunt here now for microconverters and like field dice and stuff. I actually got 10 microconverters from the tunnel bear, which was amazing. So I think in an episode a couple of days ago, I was like, oh my goodness, we got 5 microconverters in the tunnel bear, and that's actually a lot of microconverters. But I guess I can now confirm that yes, you can actually even get 10 microconverters. Maybe you can get all 15 of them, I'm not too sure, but yeah, I got 10. I was so happy about that. That was so cool. Anyway, so what I thought we'd do just to finish off this episode here is I basically want to answer some questions. So I've got just a couple of them, and I'm going to try and do them sort of fairly quickly so we can get a couple of extra ones in. But yeah, the first one I saw from that video was from Asian Sense, and she says, "Hey James, congratulations on the Supreme Amulet. Thank you very much indeed. How can I get a better score at the Ant Challenge?" So I thought this one was quite a good one, and I guess this kind of like this one is good because it kind of involves everyone, I guess. And basically, there isn't too much of a secret to the Ant Challenge. The Ant Challenge is quite simply, the more bees you have, the higher level those bees are, the better you're going to do. And I know that's not the greatest advice, but like here, okay. Oh, my voice, do you hear it? Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick. I don't know why. It's terrible. My voice, don't fail me now. Yeah, so do I have any specific tips for the Ant Challenge? So yeah, one like little tip, which I always would recommend, is as soon as you jump inside the Ant Challenge, put down your sprinklers. This is something that can be quite easily forgotten, I guess. But it doesn't matter if you have like the 1 sprinkler or you have like the 2 or the 3 or whatever. Just spread them out evenly in the field, because as you gain further and further up, it gets harder to fill up the anthill with pollen. So you're going to want those flowers in their like full state, basically. It's just going to make your life a little bit easier. Second tip, which is a little bit unrelated, but always try and make sure that you have the maximum stack of ant passes. This is just because I myself, if I'm doing ant challenges, I like to do like 2 or 3 in a row. I'm not someone that just likes to go and do one and leave it and then come back and then do another one. Once I'm in the groove, I'm in the groove. And I try to do like, 3 or 4 in one go. So always make sure you go and grab your ant pass every 2 hours. You can have a maximum of 10. And just another random little tip here, which does help. What you can do is if you're planning on doing like a bit of a play sesh, maybe like an hour or 2, make sure you actually go and hit your wealth clock. The wealth clock does increase your base pollen amount from gathering, and even that little bit extra pollen which you get from the fields is going to help in the ant challenge to pop like the different layers. As you go up further, it's going to help you actually release the ant waves a little bit quicker. So I feel like the ant challenge also, it kind of really depends on what you want to get out of it. Obviously, if you read this sign here and you go through the information, it does tell you the tiers for which amulet you're actually looking for. So it really is where you are up to in the game. However, I would say that having a vicious bee is really, really important if you want to get like a pretty decent score. So a vicious bee is obtained obviously from stingers, but nowadays when you've got the 5 extra stinger daily bonus, that's going to be a nice way of gaining some extra stingers. You now have the gifted vicious bees. So what I would recommend for that is if you're struggling a little bit with the vicious bees, make sure you go on a public server, try and find a server with some higher level players, preferably someone who already has vicious bees, and then every single time it goes nighttime, go and check those fields, work together to take down those vicious bees to grab those stingers. And like for the actual ant challenge itself, I mean, in theory, you can actually use your boosts. So you can use your red extract, your blue extract, your tropical drinks, that kind of stuff, although I would kind of recommend saving that unless you're trying for like a really, really big leaderboard score. So my current top score is 304, but I feel like I've not really done it properly for a long time, so I feel like we could go higher. With like boosts and stuff. But in terms of actually going into the ant challenge, what I do is immediately I put my sprinkler out in the middle, and then I actually try and stay in the middle of the field for as long as possible. So obviously what you want to do is I do these little circular motions right in the middle. I run around and I've always got my finger for the entire time on my mouse. I never stop collecting because I want those waves to come. So Demon Mask is also very good for gaining extra damage, but if you don't have the Demon Mask, the Fire Mask is also very good for 100 million from the Red HQ, because that does increase your damage of red bees. Ooh, okay, so yeah, I thought I'd just finish that. So yeah, I got 250 score, and I got some bits and pieces. So yeah, Ant Challenge is also quite a nice way of gaining some extra royal jellies, and some like fruits and seeds and stuff. You do also occasionally get jelly beans, which is quite nice. I kind of wish like I wish the jelly beans were a little bit more like frequent, I guess, but you do get them. And yeah, the final tip for the ant challenge is, the more bees you've got, yes, the more damage you do, and obviously different bees do different damage. However, if you do need some duplicate bees, something which is definitely going to help you, I would recommend having at least 2 rage bees inside your hive. So I've got 3. The reason why is that rage tokens stack up to 3 times. So usually if I jump into a field with an enemy, my rage bees will spin around and I'll gain 3 rage tokens straight away, which maximizes the rage boost. But if you don't have space for 3, then 2 is good. Obviously the music bee is good as well for the melody boost. But yeah, maybe try and have more than one rage bee. That's always really useful. And then obviously, just some bees with some extra damage is always good. So something like an extra lion bee if possible. I've got 2. But yeah. No, yeah, I do. I've got 2. Just for the extra damage, but that'll change sometime, I think. I got another one here, which I thought was kind of interesting from HDTK. Now, the thing is, like, because I said I wanted to make that... Oh, basically, they say here, but I'll answer the question first. What is better, circular harvest or line harvest? So yeah, I kind of want to look more into the mid-range items and stuff in that like dedicated video. I feel like that's going to be really useful, especially because there's so much equipment and items and you know, collectors and gear that you can get in the game. What I think they're referring to here is the patterns of the collectors. I think. Unless they mean literally running around in circles or running around in lines. I'm not too sure. I mean, I run around in circles in the fields, but I don't think that's what the question is. Ooh, field dice, nice. I think what they're talking about is the way that the collectors actually collect. So obviously with something like the petal wand, you have like an AoE. And this is the same thing with the honey dipper and the porcelain dipper and those kind of things. And then you have items like the spark staff, or I think even the rake, which does more of like a certain area, but more pollen from less squares. So to answer that question, it is kind of difficult because there's a bit of maths involved in all of those things. However, me personally, I always prefer having more range. And I always like to have the circular ones with more coverage. And the reason for that is quite simple, really. One, it covers more of the field, especially if the field has different colored flowers. You're working more towards the boosts, which may be active at the time. So, you know, something like, for example, the pumpkin field down there, it has 3 different types of flowers. 2, with a bigger range, you actually have a higher chance of hitting the leaves, which are in the fields. And the leaves, as well as you giving, you know, little treats and you know, strawberries and blueberries and stuff, they can also now pop up aphids. So you want to try and hit those as often as possible. And if you've got a bigger range, it means that you might accidentally hit those a little bit more often too. And then I guess that's kind of the main reasons. Oh yeah, and 3 as well, it actually makes it a little bit easier to go and harvest your sparkles. So for example, if you've got something like the spark staff, I'll put it on here, let me show you. So yeah, if you've got this like spark staff on, for example, yes, this is a pretty good collector, but it only does like very certain squares. So if you're like trying to hit a certain one in the field, you're literally gonna have to run over it every single time. Like, whereas if you've got the AoE, you can kind of just hit in its general direction and it will harvest it. So yeah, the spark staff is good. But for something like, you know, a bit more consistency, I guess, I would kind of lean towards the AoE collectors. So in terms of this top shop here, I know it's expensive, but the porcelain dipper I think is a really, really good collector. And I use this for ages. It's really, really good. Okay, let's do a couple more questions here in this episode, because I do want to do like the other video where it's a bit more, like, you know, a bit more helpful, I think. But yeah, let me just go and put back on my my petal wand. There we go. Yeah, so we have cows, something like that. Cows says which is the best event bee to buy with tickets? So this is quite a good question, and to be honest with you, there's no real wrong or right answer with this. It really just depends on what you fancy. So in terms of the event bees in here, all of them are 500 tickets. Oh, jeez, I burnt the tent down. Chill. All of them are 500 tickets, except the Cobalt and the Crimson, which are 250 each. Is the Poppy Bee 500 tickets? It is. Outrageous. Yeah, and basically, I kind of categorize them into different things. So the top 2 here, the Photon and the Tabby, I see these as like nuke bees, because the Photon Blast and the Tabby Scratch are 2 really powerful like nuke moves, and they basically harvest a lot of pollen very quickly, especially if the Tabby Scratch is ranked up to 1,000, which mine is here. The gather amount, it all times it by 1,000. It's if you hit a critical on that with boosts, it's really good. The 2 in the middle here are more like support bees. So the festive bee, obviously really nice for gifts. Gifts are always kind of useful, but you do need to level it up. And then the puppy bee is treats. I'm not that fond of the puppy bee, to be honest with you. I don't think it's that good a bee. The gifted ability is good, where it decreases the amount of treats. It increases your bond percentage. But yeah, I don't find the ball particularly useful. Some people disagree. They say it's great. You know, if you can run around in the field, you can get like 500 treats from it, but I find it quite distracting, to be honest. I'm not that much of a fan of the puppy bee, although it does look cute. And then these 2 are support bees. And to be honest, if you have 500 tickets and 500 tickets only to spend in here, I would buy the Crimson and the Cobalt. Yes, the other two are really fancy and they have really cool abilities, but these two guys work together really nicely, and it's going to completely change the way you farm fields with bombs. It's going to make your red and blue fields great, and it's 2 bees for the price of 1. So you get 2 extra bees, you've got 2 extra bees giving you tokens, and it's also going to help the entire hive with these 2 bad boys. And then the final question here for today, not necessarily like a tip and a trick, but I kind of wanted to talk about it just because I think it might be kind of useful. But we have Haril. All your names are so hard to say today. Haril Rocks. There we go. And they say, hi, I've got a question. How long have you been playing Bee Swarm? And how much honey do you make per day? Okay. And he also says, please make the video. And there you go, question to the video, boom. So yeah, this one was kind of interesting for a couple of reasons. So in terms of like how long I've played Bee Swarm, I literally played Bee Swarm the second day it came out, or the first or second day. It was kind of funny because the game went up, I made a video on it, and then by the time I posted that video, the game had to get taken down by Onnit because there was like a big game-breaking bug in it. And it didn't go up again for like 12 hours, and I was like, no, this game's amazing, I want to play it. And then, yeah, it went back up the next day, and then we made more videos on it. But in terms of actual time, 93 days. So yeah, just to give you an idea, when this bad boy gets 7 more days worth of playtime, the maximum playtime for this badge here is 2,400 hours. So yeah, that's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours. I play a lot of Bee Swarm. But I have been playing it for like 2 years now, so yeah, I've played a lot. And then the second one is how much honey do you make per day? I don't grind honey every single day. I try to do like as much as possible. For example, here today, I've made like barely nothing. So what I try and do is maybe 2 to 3 times a week, I do a couple of coconut field boosts if possible. And I never go for like, you know, the big 100 billion days and stuff. I could, but that would involve like a lot of play every single day. So I just like to come on for an hour or two, do some quests, do a coconut field booster and stuff, and I try to make somewhere between 10 and 20 billion in that play session. If I come back later on in the day and do it all over again, then maybe we can make like 35, 40, but I try and go between 10 and 20, maybe 2 or 3 times a week if possible. So nothing crazy, but it does, you know, keep the honey ticking over in the background, and I feel like that's pretty good for me. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because the one thing that I've always been concerned about is a lot of people watch, you know, YouTubers and stuff, or maybe like me, play this game and you see all these crazy big numbers, and, you know, literally as soon as you jump into the game, you see this leaderboard and you see this leaderboard and everything's like billions and trillions, and I guess it can be quite intimidating. So the one thing that I would say is it really doesn't matter, you know, what your rates are and what your percentages are and that kind of stuff. As long as you're having fun and enjoying the game, then it doesn't really matter. You know, obviously it's really nice to play and get better and to unlock new gear and stuff, but what I like to do is, instead of worrying about all that kind of stuff, I like to set myself a little goal. So I like to say, okay, within the next like week or 2, I want to make this much amount of honey so I can go and get a new piece of gear, or, you know, I want to, you know, do this quest or finish this quest in the next couple of days, and I just kind of try and work towards that. So, you know, one little goal, you know, at a time, because it can get a bit overwhelming if you start looking at all these crazy big numbers. And yeah, the thing is, you want to play the game and you want to have fun. You know, you don't want to stress out about it. You don't want to get like angry at it. You don't want to, you know, feel disheartened about it or anything like that. So, you know, take your time. There's no rush. Just play the game the way that you want to play. And, you know, hopefully a few of these tips and stuff might help you play a bit more efficiently. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how you want to play it, as long as you're having fun. That's the main thing. Yeah, so thank you once again for all of your questions and stuff. There are a bunch of other questions. There were so many. Thank you so much if you do leave a question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make another separate video trying to address all of those points, because there was a lot of them about mid-game players, and I want to try and give you like a proper video about that. So yeah, stay tuned for that on the channel. It will be coming up pretty soon. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please remember to put me in that like button, and if you're not yet subscribed, go for it, because we do Roblox done fun. But until next time, thank you once again for watching. It's been such a pleasure. As always, thanks, and see ya!